Hello, dear listeners. Welcome to another exciting episode of Sherlock Holmes and the Young Detectives. In this story, the young detectives and their mentor Sherlock Holmes have been requested to investigate a series of mystical occurrences in the quaint English village of Eldergrove. So, without any further ado, let us dive into the story. Sherlock Holmes and the Young Detectives, Mystery at Eldergrove by Namoko Nikora. On an unusually cloudy Thursday morning, the air inside 221B Baker Street buzzed with an almost electric sense of anticipation. The young detectives, Mark, Tom, Teapot and B, crowded around the table, their eyes wide with excitement. "Do you think Holmes will let us pick our next case?" Tom wondered aloud. "After our last adventure with the nightingale thief, he might trust us with something more challenging," B replied. Teapot adjusted his spectacles, glancing anxiously at the various magnifying glasses and notebooks spread out before them. "I hope it's something fantastical. I'd love to see some real magic for once." Just as Mark was about to respond, a sharp knock came from the door. The young detectives exchanged looks. They knew their knock all too well. "Come in," Holmes called out, his voice commanding but warm. The door swung open and a delivery boy stepped inside, a scroll tied with a green ribbon in his hands. "For Mr. Sherlock Holmes," he announced, holding it out cautiously. Holmes accepted the scroll with curiosity. He untied the ribbon and unfolded the parchment, his eyebrows arching as he read aloud. "To the esteemed Sherlock Holmes and his exceptional young detectives, I seek your assistance in matters most peculiar in the quaint village of Eldergrove. A series of mystical occurrences have stirred unrest among the townsfolk. I entreat you, sir, to come at once. Yours truly, Lady Arabella Wrenwood." With the parchment still in hand, Holmes looked up at the young detectives. "What do you think, team? A chance to uncover hidden mysteries and perhaps a touch of magic. Shall we investigate?" "Absolutely!" Mark cheered, unable to contain his excitement. "Eldergrove sounds like the perfect setting for a grand adventure." "Prepare yourselves," Holmes advised as he rolled the parchment back up. "We leave at once." The train ride to Eldergrove was filled with wonder and speculation. The young detectives conversed with each other about the possibilities awaiting them. "Do you think this Lady Arabella really knows anything about magic?" Tom asked, gripping the edge of his seat with fascination. "It's possible," Tom replied, peering out of the window at the speeding scenery. "Sometimes magic is simply an unexplained phenomenon which can be investigated scientifically." Bee's eyes gleamed as she added, "Or maybe it's real magic. I've always wanted to meet a witch or see enchanted creatures." As they approached Eldergrove, the vibrant green landscape rolled out before them, dotted with charming cottages and sprawling fields. Upon arriving at the quaint station, the team was instantly captivated by the village's old-world charm. "Keep your eyes peeled," Holmes instructed as they stepped onto the platform. "Let's find Lady Arabella and inquire about these mystical occurrences." They made their way to the village square, where an old fountain gurgled cheerfully in the centre. Lady Arabella awaited them, a tall woman with an elegant air, her attire a blend of vintage and whimsical styles. "Holmes, my dear detectives," she exclaimed, her eyes sparkling with desperation and hope. "I'm so glad you've come. Lady Arabella, Holmes greeted, inclining his head slightly. Please tell us what troubles your village. Lady Arabella led them to a cosy tea room filled with the scents of fresh pastries and brewed herbs. As they settled at a wooden table, she began to explain. Eldergrove has long been a quaint village, known for its lush woods and serene landscapes. Recently, however, strange events have plagued us. People claim to see flickering lights in the woods during the night and hear whispers that seem to come from nowhere, she said, her voice trembling slightly. Whispers? Bee asked, her curiosity piqued. Yes, gentle voices calling out, sometimes even singing, Lady Arabella sighed. Some villagers believe these occurrences are the work of spirits or fairies. They're frightened. A few have gone missing while searching for the source of these sounds. Holmes nodded, his eyes keen. We must gather more information about the specific incidents. When did these disturbances begin? They began approximately 3 weeks ago, Lady Arabella explained. At first, it was merely the strange lights, but now these whispers seem to carry secrets, luring people into the woods. Are there any specific locations where these events occur? Mark inquired, pulling out his notebook. Just beyond the old oak tree, near the edge of the forest, Lady Arabella replied. It said that this tree is ancient and perhaps holds the key to the mysteries we face. Let us investigate the area surrounding the oak tree at dawn, Holmes suggested. The light of the morning may reveal things hidden in the dark. The young detectives nodded in agreement, hearts racing with anticipation. At dawn, the detectives made their way to the forest with Lady Arabella guiding them through the winding paths. The air was crisp, invigorating their senses as they approached the ancient oak tree, its gnarled branches stretching toward the sky. Look at its size, Tom exclaimed, rubbing his hand against the rough bark. This tree must be centuries old. Indeed, Holmes remarked, scanning the area. It's quite possible it has witnessed many secrets. We should take a close look for any signs of activity. As they circled the tree, Tipo noticed something unusual. Over there! He pointed to the ground where faint footprints led deeper into the woods. Excellent observation, Holmes commented. These tracks might belong to someone intrigued by the whispers. Let's follow them. With heightened senses, they followed the trail until it abruptly ceased at a glen filled with wildflowers. It was breathtaking, but something gnawed at the edges of their thoughts. This place feels different, Bee said, glancing around nervously, like something extraordinary is about to happen. Just as she spoke, the air began to shimmer and ethereal lights flickered around them. The whispers grew louder and stronger, soothing yet haunting, calling their names. Listen, Mark urged, entranced by the melodic sounds. Suddenly, a figure emerged from the shimmering lights, an enchanting woman clad in flowing fabrics, her hair cascading like water, her eyes glowing like stars. She introduced herself with a voice that felt like silk. I am Ayla, guardian of the Eldergrove. Lady Arabella stepped forward, her face a mix of awe and concern. Ayla, what is happening to our village? Why have you begun to reveal yourselves? Ayla's gaze landed on each one of them, a faint smile gracing her lips. the balance between our realms has been disturbed. Once magic flowed freely through these woods, but a dark force has emerged, threatening both your world and my world. A dark force? Tom repeated, shivering at the notion. What sort of threat does this pose? The whispering shadows, creatures birthed from fear and despair, seek to steal the magic from the forest, Ayla explained. They've been luring your villagers to absorb their light, weakening their hearts and spirits. Then we must confront them, Tipo proclaimed, anger swelling within him. What can we do to help? Ayla's expression turned solemn. For now, we must shield our villagers. I can grant you a glimpse of the magic and the ways of the forest. But if we are to defeat the whispering shadows, you must be willing to step into a realm of challenges and discovery. Holmes met the eyes of each young detective, sensing the bravery swelling among them. We accept this challenge, Ayla. Tell us how we can help. First, you must find the Heartstone, Ayla instructed, raising her palm to reveal a pulsating, glowing gem nestled there. It is the source of magic and harmony in Eldergrove. Without it, the balance of our realms could crumble. What do we do with this Heartstone once we find it? Mark asked, eager but apprehensive. You will learn to harness its power, Ayla replied, her voice echoing with purpose. Only then you confront the whispering shadows and restore light to Eldergrove. With renewed determination, the young detective set forth into the forest, guided by Ayla's wisdom. You will find clues along the way, she explained. Trust your instincts and remain vigilant. As they ventured deeper into the enchanting woods, the sunlight flickered through the trees, casting delicate patterns on the ground. Birds of vibrant colours flitted overhead, and curious creatures peeked from behind trees, observing the young heroes with interest. Do you hear that? Tom said, stopping suddenly. A soft melody weaved through the air, guiding them further along the path. The group shared a look of intrigue before hastening to follow the sound. Their footsteps led them to a tranquil pool reflecting the rich hues of the forest. At its edge sat a nymph, her laughter dancing like ripples on the water's surface. Welcome, young adventurers, she sang. I am Isla, keeper of the water soul. You seek the Heartstone, do you not? We do, Bee exclaimed, captivated by Isla's beauty. Can you help us? Isla smiled knowingly. First, prove your worthiness. To unlock the Heartstone, you must answer this riddle. I speak without a mouth and hear without ears. I have no body, but I come alive with the wind. What am I? The young detectives exchanged glances, each internally unravelling the riddle. An echo, Mark exclaimed after a brief pause, his face alight with realization. Isla clapped her hands, and the pool shimmered with vibrant colours. Well done! The Heartstone awaits you at the base of the Whispering Falls. But first, I will grant you the gifts of the forest to aid you in your quest. With a flourish, she waved her hands, and ethereal lights enveloped each detective. A warmth spread through them as they felt newfound strength. Tom's sense of agility sharpened, while Bee's intuition deepened. Having received their mystical gifts, the group continued onward, their hearts swelling with excitement and resolve. They trekked along the forest paths, guided by whispers that seemed to lead them toward the Heartstone. Finally, they arrived at the Whispering Falls, a shimmering cascade plunging into a crystalline pool below. The sight was breathtaking, yet an air of tension hung among them. The echoes of water combined with whispers filled the air as they approached. "We will find the Heartstone here," Holmes murmured, observing their surroundings meticulously. As they drew near, the cascading water began to shift and swirl, revealing the reflection of a shimmering stone hidden beneath its surface. "There it is!" Tipor exclaimed, pointing excitedly. However, just as they reached for it, shadows emerged from the depths of the water. A swarm of whispering shadows, dark figures twisting and writhing in desperate attempt to claim the Heartstone. "Stay together!" Holmes commanded, positioning himself protectively in front of the young detectives. "We cannot allow them to take what is not theirs." The shadows whispered silently, their voices a blend of allure and menace. "You cannot defeat us. Your light cannot shine in the depths of twilight." With fortitude, the young detectives gathered their courage. "We stand united," shouted Mark, echoing Holmes's earlier words. As they focused their wills, the gifts they received from Isla shone brightly within them. The whispers of the shadows grew desperate, struggling against the light emanating from their bottoms. Each detective was imbued with a surge of energy, allowing them to confront the encroaching darkness. Tom leaped forward, his agility enhanced, snatching the Heartstone as its light flared wildly. Holding the Heartstone aloft, the warm glow illuminated the falls, battling the shadows that lurked within the water. The shadows recoiled, their whispers transforming into shrieks of anger. "Your greed will only breed despair," T.B. asserted, her newfound confidence bolstering the light around them. As the Heartstone glowed brighter, a wave of energy washed over them, sweeping their shadows back into the depths with a force that shattered their hold over the realm. With a final cry, the whispering shadows dissolved, their presence evaporating into nothingness. "You did it!" Tipor cheered, exhilaration bubbling up. "We saved the Heartstone!" As the last remnants of darkness faded, the energy of the Heartstone surged, sending a radiant light cascading through the trees. The forest surged with colour, vitality returning after their victory. Once the threat of the whispering shadows had passed, the forest around them erupted into cheerful sounds. Creatures both great and small emerged to celebrate their triumph. "Together, you have restored the balance," Ela announced, emerging from the glimmering light. The ethereal aura surrounding her shimmered more brightly than before. "You have proven yourselves as defenders of this realm, and for that we thank you." Holmes turned to his young companions, pride evident in his eyes. "Your resolve and unity have been commendable. It was only through teamwork, but we achieved this victory." The nymphs and woodland creatures encircled the young detective, showering them with flower petals and joyous songs that resonated through the trees. Ela stepped forward, holding the Heartstone with reverence. "This gem symbolizes the connection between our worlds. Take it as a gift, a reminder of the light you can protect within yourselves and one another. Let it guide you in your future explorations. With a flourish, she bestowed the heartstone to Holmes, who nodded respectfully, understanding its significance. As the celebration wound down, Lady Arabella joined them. You have protected our village and restored peace. We are forever grateful, she said, her eyes gleaming with admiration. Eldergrove has been restored, but your vigilance is essential. Holmes warned, magic exists around us in various forms. We must all be its guardians. Mark, Tom, Tipo and B each promised to remain protected of the natural world and its mysteries as they packed to leave. Ayla and the woodland creatures gathered near the edge of the forest, their presence shimmering with life. Remember, dear travellers, you are always welcome in our realm. The forest shall sing for you. Although it was time for them to return to London, the memories of Eldergrove and their experiences would forever linger in their hearts. Back at 221B Baker Street, the cosy surroundings embraced them as they settled back into their familiar environment. The warmth of the fire crackled, soothing their exhilarated spirits. Today was extraordinary, Bee exclaimed, her eyes bright as she recounted the details of their adventure. I never thought I'd encounter real magic, Tom added, still awash with wonder. Tipo grinned, and we fought against shadows. Who could have imagined? Holmes, seated in his customary chair, steepled his fingers and thought. Each of you displayed remarkable courage and intellect. Together you overcame darkness with the light of friendship. As the fire cast its glow across the room, the young detectives shared stories of their journey, their laughter intertwining with the shadows of the past. They spoke of the adventure that had called to them beyond the mundane and how the challenges sparked a deeper understanding of themselves and their bonds. In that moment, they realized their adventures were only just beginning. With each day they spent with Holmes, they were not just students of deduction, but explorers of magic, mystery, and camaraderie. As they settled down for the night, the comforts of home enveloping them, Holmes rose and approached the window, gazing thoughtfully into the night sky. Tomorrow we will investigate the mysteries of the city, he mused softly, for whenever there are puzzles to be solved and adventures to embrace, we shall go together. With renewed vigour and an unyielding spirit, the young detectives understood that there would always be mysteries awaiting to be unravelled. As they drifted off to sleep, visions of their next adventures danced in their minds. For in the world of Sherlock Holmes and the young detectives, every day held the promise of awe, wonder, and a hint of the extraordinary. The End. Sherlock Holmes and the Young Detectives, Mystery of Eldergrove by Namoko Nikora. Copyright Namoko Nikora.